everyone, welcome to Trinic Tips. This is Bob Chatterton, your host, and I want to welcome you to a show that is designed for decorative concrete contractors, manufacturers, producers. As a matter of fact, that was one of the things that kind of came up last week, which was our first show, and if you didn't catch it, please go back and check it out. It was amazing. I had John Allegro and Joe Dietz on there, and we talked about what we wish we had known then when we started our businesses that we actually know now. And it was a really interesting conversation. And again, second shout out to those two guys for doing a great job. But when we covered that, one of the things that came up was, how do you guys look at yourselves? Are you contractors? Are you producers? Are you manufacturers? I'd love to hear from you guys out there. How do you look at what you do? Whether you're making concrete countertops or building cladding or fireplace surrounds or doing stamped concrete work or whatever it is that is your given bent in this industry. Let me know. Let me know what you look at yourselves as, and we can cover that. Could be another topic for another show. It'd be awesome. So, like I said last week, we covered a little bit of what we wish we would have known that we know now. And one of the things I want to talk about this week is a little bit of an offshoot on that of how do we get started, or why did we get started in this business? Why did we even start our own business? And generally the answer to that, if we're honest with ourselves, is people think, well, look, if you start your own business, you don't have to work for anyone else. You have more money, more time, and more freedom. Lies, all lies. So once you get into a new company, it's exciting at first, but then it just gets to be a job. And quite honestly, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, I don't want a job. If I did that, I'd want to go work for someone else and have less headaches. But it doesn't have to be that way. And I'll be honest, this is company number 4 for me. 3 were fairly successful. 1 was not. I learned quite a bit from the one that was not. And decided that when we grow a company, this is probably my last hurrah, but when we grow a company, I want to make it a company that serves us. I don't want to be just stuck in a job. Who does? So through some of the business coaching that we've received, had a great opportunity to be mentored to by some pretty big names in the business world. Just leave them nameless for now because I didn't ask them if I could talk about them. But they've just been super helpful. And one of the things that really started me off was the question of, well, what do you want? And my gut reaction, most of yours, is probably going to be, well, I want more money. I want more time. I want more freedom. And that's all well and good. And those are things, but it's too short and too shallow of an answer. So the real answer is take some time. Take some time and think about it. When you're putting together a company, it should be a reflection of who you are, not who you think you should be or what someone else did or what corporate America does, because quite honestly, that very rarely works. It creates tons of jobs and positions, but not really a company that serves you. One of my favorite quotes is from Tom Watson, who, when starting IBM, said, we're going to envision the company that we want to become, and when we want to become when it's finished, and then we're going to act that way. So his point to that, and the reason I love using IBM is they started here locally in our hometown. And yeah, they've had their own issues, and they've had some financial difficulties and things like that. But look, they're still a world power. They're still a big company, and it's been years and years. Uh, it's the thing that I love about that is they did that. They stuck right to it. If you read any of the history books on them and things like that, it's pretty interesting of how they kind of stuck right to that. And look, it worked. And they're not the only one. there's little bakeries that have done the same thing. There's you name the business, and there's a source to that success. But there also needs to be some happiness involved with it because finances. I've met a whole lot of unhappy rich people. Now, they they they've built big companies or made lots of money. But look, we're in this company for most of our lives. And if not, it's a big chunk of time, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is or more. You're going to give that up just to have some finances? No. Let's build a company that serves our needs, that we want to serve. Um, Really, it comes down to let's build a company that gives you a life and then gives you a life that you can give back. And where that kind of started, really opening my eyes to that, is one of my coaches. Like I said, it's what do you want? So his thing was take some time and dream your dream. What does that company look like for you? What does your life look like in conjunction with that company? So what's it look like, to steal Tom Watson's words, when it's finished? The air quotes finished. So I did. I sat down, I dreamed that dream, and I encouraged the people that I coach with, or that I coach to do that as well. Where I got a local company that I'm working with, and I asked them, what's your dream? A whole bunch of different answers, and it was kind of fun because that's what always happens. And once you get that point, I said, okay, stop. I want you all to just write it down. Write down what your dreams are. And look, if that includes, something crazy off the wall, huge, boats or whatever, that's fine. You can include those. But include some tangibles. And what I call tangibles is when you're dreaming that, let me know what your annual sales are, what your profit percentage is, how many employees, like how many positions it's going to take to operate that company of your dreams. What your assets look like, what's the building look like if you have one, how much do you travel, things like that. And then there's what we call soul soothers. So those are the intangibles, and kind of the things that come up because of the business. And we put those into categories called time, toys, tots, and legacy. So time, obviously, we want more time, right? No one wants to work 80 hours a week for the rest of their lives. So what's your time look like when you're done with that? Your toys, what do you do for fun? Do you travel? Do you have big boats? Do you have collector cars? What are the spoils of your labor, if you will, whatever that looks like. Tots is family. And whether, you have actual children or grandchildren, then, that's pretty self-explanatory. If you don't, there's always people that are involved in your life, people that are important to you, that you can help financially, that you can spend more time with, you can travel with. It's what you're going to leave as an inheritance. And then one step, including that, but one step beyond that is what's your legacy? What do you want to be known for? What do you want to be remembered for? What what are you going to do with your profits? Because let's be honest, if it's a company, it better be profitable. If not, then it's not a company, it's a hobby. And no one wants to do that. A lot of our training classes now, especially this year, are all geared towards profitability. That's what we're here for. You can't keep doing what you love if you're not making money at it. And you can't be a blessing to others if you don't have the resources to do that. So let's be honest and kind of get away from the whole adage of oh, I don't want to be greedy. You're not being greedy. As a matter of fact, you can't be generous unless you have profit. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about that. So the legacy. Do you want to be a philanthropist? Do you want to, leave your children a big inheritance? Do you want to give back to the industry that you're in by donating time or education, whatever that legacy looks like? It's something that we all want deep down, but very rarely do we ever think about it and bring it out. So here's my encouragement for you today. Dream that dream. No holds barred, no finance constrictions, no time constrictions, no regulation constrictions, nothing like that. Just write it down. What's your dream? What's your company look like when it's finished, and what's your life look like connected to that company? And then I'll give you a little foreshadowing that we'll cover in another episode. But this is a great way to put the finish line, right? Even though it's an air quotes finish line, that gives the destination. That's where we want to go. And then we'll come back to, okay, here's where we are now. And then there is the absolute joy of getting from point A to point B, and it's all that in between. Now, I'd love to tell you that there was a simple 3-step program. If you do this, this, and this, then you'll be automatically successful. But that's probably not going to happen. It's a lot of hard work, but it doesn't have to be miserable. It can be fun, as a matter of fact. That's one of the things that just makes my heart come alive that I love to do is I love to build companies. I get bored when they're stagnant and stale. And I look at those areas of a business that if they're not developing or running like the machine they should, then we need to do something different with those. And here we are, smack dab in the middle of this COVID-19 thing that no one really has any real answers, right? So we're a little bit in limbo. Well, look, if you have extra time, or even if you don't, it's a great time to look at these things. Take a day, dream your dream, write it down, and then here's a super good gold nugget for you that has helped us out a lot. Is take 1 hour a week and work on your business, not in it. We use the terms tactical and strategic. The tactical work is the day-to-day, the mixing of the mud, the coloring of the concrete, the building the forms, the actual manufacturing labor. Here we go, we're making this stuff, calling on clients. That's all tactical. What I mean by strategic is once you have your dream, step back from your company and look at it from the 40,000 foot view. Look down on it, take yourself out of it, look down on it and go, all right, here's where we are. This is some of the things that I need to accomplish to get to my air quotes finish. So it doesn't sound like much. When I first started, I thought, I can do an hour a day. That'll be great. Let me tell you what, it probably isn't going to turn out to be an hour a day because the phone rings or so-and-so calls and, you get a opportunity to go bid a job. So we're off on that. And it's more difficult than you think, but an hour a week, that you can do. I struggled with that, and one of the people that really encouraged me to take the hour a week and work on Trinic was, he put it this way, like if you had cancer and you had an oncologist appointment that was 1 hour a week, would you make it? Yeah, I would. There's no doubt about that. And then the comment was, well, if your company is your lifeblood, why not take the hour a week? Point taken. So I do take that hour a week. And lately we've been doing a little bit more because obviously we had to make some changes and switch some things around to make up for the the drop off in business, and just the changes of how we had to do things. But anyway, that hour a week has been super super helpful. It's allowed us to step back and look at everything and help develop our dream and start putting some systems in place. Because let's face it, where we go from here is that whole middle thing and the positions that it's going to take to run that. Our names are in a ton of those boxes because there's no one else to do what we have to do. But the ones that you don't want to do. The jobs that have to be done that you just don't want to do. Well, those are the first ones we're going to work ourselves out of and find a way to do that. And then we're going to keep a system or put a system in place that allows the person to step into that job or to that position and do it the way we want it done. It's your company. Set it up the way you want. Design it the way you want it. And that's where it'll start to bring life to you instead of just creating a job that you get to go to every day. So anyway, there's your 2 tips. As we keep moving forward with this, I'll keep interjecting a lot of the business strategies that have worked for us, along with tips and techniques of how to make concrete, or how do we form it, or whatever this situation is. We've gotten some really good comments and some great ideas for upcoming shows, so keep dropping those in the comments below. We want to hear from you. We've turned on the comments because we want to interact with you. We want to build a community that thrives in good times and bad. Let's face it, this time's a little bit tough. No one likes change. But we can accelerate through this and come out on the other side leaner, meaner, more efficient, and more profitable. There's times now that we can take advantage of what's going on and come out in front of where we were and just keep moving forward from there. So comments below, pound down on the like button. YouTube loves that, so like a lot. Share it when you can, because everyone needs to see this. Subscribe if you're not already. Invite your friends to subscribe, and that's all the ways that you can help us out. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you all. Make it great, as Warren Ness would say. Shout out to him, but great saying, right, for the producers out there. So make it great. Have a great day. See you later.